Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Saturday Morning Coffee with Back to Basics Dog Training. I hope everybody had a happy and fantastic Thanksgiving. Hopefully, all our bellies are settled and we're ready to dig into some dog training. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Leon. I'm the trainer here over at Back to Basics Dog Training, and each and every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, I come to you live with a free dog training Q&A session. So, get your questions ready, pop them in the comments, and I answer any and all dog training related questions. Um, and if you're just watching and you're just hanging out listening, pop in the comments. Let me know you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. Even later on the replay, that would do me my heart a lot of good because I like seeing people jumping in and putting their comments in and letting me know that they're there watching and listening to what I have to say. So, since we're in the holiday season, I'm going to get off to the topic of the week until I start seeing some questions pop up here. So, with the holiday season upon us, one of the biggest complaints we get around this time of the year is I can't have guests over. I can't be a host at a party because my dogs just act totally crazy, jumping all over my guests, stealing food, doing this, doing that, just making a life of misery. And if we do have people come over, we're locking them, the dogs, into another room in the house and we're separating them from the pack and we're doing all this stuff because it just becomes unbearable because the way the dogs are reacting. If any of you guys have this issue, shoot it in the comments. Let me know that this is a good subject for you guys. So, as anybody who's followed me or had me in their homes for training, you all know I talk about rewarding the calm. Good morning, Chris. How are you today? Um, it's real important to learn how to reward the calm, especially if you want to entertain. You know, the in a dog's mind, somebody knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell, coming in is a sense of excitement, and they go bowling to the door, and then they open the door, and we jump all over the guest. Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you! I'm so happy to see you! And your guest's like, oh my God, get this beast away from me. It could be the most friendliest dog on the face of the earth. They've been so used to getting rewarded for excitement that that's how they learn how to greet people. And it starts with us, the dog owners. We come home from going out shopping, a long day at work, whatever it may be, and our pups are excited to see us and they get excited and they're jumping on us. And we're like, oh, we missed you too. We pet them and we rough them up and we have a good time with them. And what you're doing is rewarding that excitement. And that's what's creating that problem where you can't have guests come over because if you're rewarding the excitement and you're accepting the excitement that it's okay to jump all over you, what's the difference if they jump all over me when I come over? So it really does start from you with us taking the control of the things we don't like. And one of the things we don't like is our dogs jumping on our guests and being generally annoying. So what you have to start doing, and it's hard, guys. I know we want, especially after a long, hard day, we want to just snuggle with our dogs and give them the affection because they give us unconditional love. And I just got done getting reamed out by my boss or whatever, and I really need this. That makes us feel good, but you're not helping your dog. Um, Thank you, Christine. I love being here every Saturday morning. Last week I was here. I just came in at 12 o'clock instead of 11 o'clock. Um, I apologize for that, but I did have something scheduled beforehand, so I just wanted to make sure that we got it out there anyway. Um, so yeah, I know we want that feeling of our dogs give us that unconditional love, and I believe they do. They're unconditional, guys. They don't think about it; they just give it to us. But to help them and help yourselves when you have guests come over, is when you come home from that hard day at work, give yourself some time. Don't let the dogs jump all over you. Demand your personal space from them, and then when you're settled and they're calmer, because they're going to be looking at you like, wait a second, why aren't you giving me this affection like you normally give me? When they're calmer, you invite them over and then you can give them affection. So you're rewarding a calmer state of mind instead of that excited state of mind. When we reward the excitement, we get the excitement. If we reward fear, we get fear. If we reward insecurity, we create insecurity. If we reward aggression, we get aggression. It's how we handle all those situations. And if we always go back to the state of mind being calm, you reward a calmer state of mind. They're happier, you're happy, your guests are happy, everybody's happier. So it all starts with us. So you come home from a hard day of work and your dog is excited to see you, feel good inside about it, but demand your personal space. Say, hey, give me some time. Let me put my stuff down. Let me go to the restroom. Let me get changed out of these, clothes, whatever. And when you're calm, invite them over to be rewarded for being calm, and they'll start learning. You'll recondition them to this is how they're going to get affection. They're going to get affection when they're calm, and it's so important because now if they can control that sense of excitement when they're pack leaders. Good morning, Milda. I hope I said that right. If they can learn to control that sense of excitement with their pack leaders, their mommies and daddies, it'll be easier for them to control their excitement when grandma or grandpa, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, or whoever come over. So now we can start enjoying and entertaining in our homes. I've had dogs my whole entire life, and that's the one thing I've always demanded. When I come home, I want my personal space. I want to be able to put my stuff down, do what I need to do, settle down a little bit, and then I'm going to give my dogs all the affection in the world. When I come home now, she's always excited to see me. She knows she shouldn't come over and be jumping and begging for my attention. She waits till I settle down, or I go over to her and I pet her when she's in a calmer state of mind. I'm not going to reward that excitement because, again, when my granddaughter starts walking and crawling, the last thing I want Zoe to do is bum rush her and, knock her over, hurt her, scare her, or whatever. So I practice what I preach. I only reward the calm state of mind. And, since we're talking about calm state of mind, I always tell people I've never in my life, with all the dogs I've had a dog that was afraid of thunder or fireworks because I never would reward that state of mind when they became unsure of that loud sound. And believe me, I've had some dogs that when I initially got them, they were terrified of those sounds. But what I did is I desensitized them to it, and we let them hear some sounds. And then when they were calm, we would reward them, be it food based or affection. And when I say reward, guys, it's multiple things. It could be treats, it could be high value food, it could be my affection. 90% of the time, it's all about my affection. That's the best treat for a dog is when you're truly, truly happy with them, your energy speaks so much louder than your voice does. You know, and for a dog, that is the ultimate of rewards is that you're happy, you're calm, you're in a great state of mind, and that they'll work and they'll follow that state of mind all day long. I was at my daughter's house for Thanksgiving, and she has two dogs, Brody, our red-nosed pit bull, and Milo, the husky, and they love to play with each other. They love it. That's the best thing in the world to them. Problem being is Brody is a bull in a china shop when he plays, and he doesn't realize how strong he is compared to Milo. So he bum rushes Milo. I mean, he'll body tackle. I mean, it's amazing to watch and see how Milo gets up and sometimes continues. But there are times when Milo's like, "Hey, this is way too much," and Brody doesn't have that necessary off switch. And so I was out there with them on Thanksgiving in the yard, and Brody started that, but just with a snap of my fingers, no, Brody stopped, and I'm like, yes. And he came right over to me like, did I do good? Did I do good? Did I do? And that was his reward. And I petted him, I played with him, I gave him affection because he did what I asked him to do. And you can see he thrived on it. I didn't have to give him food. I didn't have to give him the treats. His treat was I was happy. And it's beautiful if you actually get the opportunity to ever see it with your own dogs. It is so beautiful when they come to you and say, "Did I do good?" It's almost as it's as rewarding as when your kids do something, you know, make you a Mother's Day or Father's Day breakfast, and no matter what, you're so proud of them for doing it. You you just glow. Your energy changes. It could be the worst breakfast in the world. Who gives a crap? But you're going to be so happy with them. They're going to feel that. They're not going to have to hear our words. They're just going to know. They're going to see our face lighten up, our smiles on our face, and they're going to get it. And the dogs get it too. No, I have, I have five, three Shih Tzus, two Bijans, 5 years to 15. Wow. All crazy when we get home from work or any outing. I had one of the dog under the fence in July due to the fireworks. Bought him a thunder jacket and had to crate him. He was put down. I'm so sorry. He was put down due to bleeding cancer. His chest cavity. His chest cavity. That is so sad. I'm so sorry you had to do that. Yeah, guys, and it doesn't matter that they're anywhere from 5 to 15. They could be from 3 months to 20 years old. These theories work, and the good thing is, if you're working with the state of mind and not, like I try to tell people, not go after the physical. The older the dog is, the less physical I'm going to try to be because, let's face it, they're getting older. They may not be able to handle it. But I don't do physical control of dog. I do mental control, and that's learning to reward the state of mind. With all those dogs, I mean, the easiest way to do is set them up for success. When you're coming home, and yet, if you have family members there or friends that could be there, have the dogs on a leash when you come home. Don't acknowledge them. Have them keep them on leash with friends and family, whoever's there, and you just walk by and ignore them. Don't even acknowledge their existence at this point, and only acknowledge the one. If one gets calm first, acknowledge it, and then if another one gets calm, acknowledge it. Wait for the calm before you acknowledge them, and they'll learn. And some dogs they learn it right away. Other dogs take a few repetition of doing it. Um, but again, even with like you said, you had a dog break out in July because of fireworks, and it's the fear. Dogs have the same thing, and I went over this a little bit last week from a mistake that I made with a dog. Dogs have the fight, flight, avoid, and submission. Those are the four stages they have to go through when there's something other than calm going on. So when they hear these loud noises, they get startled, just like you and I do, folks. When somebody shoots off fireworks and you're not expecting it, you're startled. Thunderstorm comes around when you're not expecting it, you get startled. Our dogs do too. It's how we handle a lot of the mistakes we make, unfortunately, is we see them get startled and we start hugging and soothing them and we're saying, it's okay, it's only whatever fireworks, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But meanwhile, their state of mind is, I'm not too comfortable with this, and we're going, it's okay. We're rewarding that state of mind instead of just, I don't want to say ignore because you want to make sure they stay safe, is maybe put a leash on them and just stay calm. Don't sit on the floor with them. Just stay where you normally do. Disagree with that flight mechanism. Like in this case, your dog heard the fireworks and the flight mechanism came in. That's a survival mechanism. Um, and that could be that flight mechanism can actually be their demise because God forbid they dig out, they run into the street, get hit by a car. So the best thing we can do, and I'm going to tell you the one thing, I'm not sure. I've never tried a thunder jacket. I've heard good and bad about them, so I'm not going to say either way right now. The one thing I won't do when I have a dog who is afraid, and I've worked with a dog not too long ago that was terrified of fireworks, is I won't put them in the cage because if they have that flight mechanism, they can hurt themselves trying to get out of the cage. So I'm going to use the story. I'm sure many of you who've been watching me for years knows the story of Duke. I worked with a rescue dog, Duke. I had him in my home for 10, 11 weeks doing a rehabilitation train, basically so we could get him adopted. He had an undesirable past. Um, Duke was afraid of thunder and fireworks. So I originally had plans to go to a friend's house on 4th of July, and I realized that Duke had this fear of the sounds. So I canceled my plans because I was not going to leave him in his crate when I wasn't home. Not during a night like that when everybody on in my block blows off fireworks. I invited my friends over to my house instead, and then what I did is I took Duke out on the leash. I took him out on a leash, kept him right by me the whole entire evening. And what we did is I told my friends what was going to happen. I said, it's going to be hard to watch this because Duke is not going to be happy. He's going to try to get away, and I'm not going to let him. But we're not going to acknowledge him either. We're not going to feel bad for him. We're not going to feel, stare at him because he's throwing, he's shaking or whatever he's going through in his head. We're just going to continue staying in a calm manner, and we're going to continue doing what we were doing, eating, drinking, playing games, chit-chatting, whatever we were doing, but we're going to all stay calm. That's it. We're going to stay calm. So I kept him on the leash. And the first time fireworks started going, he went absolutely bat crap crazy. I mean, it was the full out temper tantrum. I need to get the hell out of here. I brought him to a safe spot. So when he did that, he wouldn't hurt himself. After about 30 seconds of that, he was like, that's a lot of energy. I'm freaking exhausted. And you can start see him going from that 10 to the 9 to the 8. You can actually see him starting to relax with the sounds going off around us. So when we had a lull in the fireworks, Duke's favorite thing in the world was the tug toy. And what I did with Duke is I brought him into my dog run that I had attached to my deck when I looked up north. And I brought him in there. We shut the gate. I took him off leash, and we started interacting with the tug toy. And he did not want to interact with it. He was still in that state of mind, like, I'm not sure about this. I'm not comfortable. And I just kept working and encouraging him to come out of that state of mind that he was in. And eventually we started getting into it with the tug toy a little bit. And then, of course, the lull ended. Fireworks started again. I got my leash on him real quick because he went complete shutdown mode. And I just started walking around with him a little bit, just trying to keep everything calm, everything. Hey, look, I'm your leader. I'm not freaking out about this. Why are you? Type of routine. Long story short, after about 45 minutes of nonstop fireworks, we had another lull. We're back into the dog run, played with the tug toy, and I'm telling you, this was his favorite activity. He would take that over food. We played with the tug toy. All of a sudden, boom, fireworks came. He dropped it. I got him right back into it, and we started playing with the tug toy, and he did his commands. When I say out or drop or whatever it was, he would drop it, and then we would go again, and we go again. All of a sudden, fireworks started up again, but he was over it. He was over it. He started just focusing on playing with the tug toy, and him and I enjoyed it while the fireworks were going off. And even in that hour and a half of working with him, he started getting over that phobia. Um, and the beauty of that was the next day, because as you know, July 4th doesn't mean July 4th. Fireworks go on for weeks before, weeks after. We're in our living room. 8 o'clock, Duke put himself into the crate to go to bed. 8 o'clock, he went to bed. 8:30, somebody um, started blowing off fireworks. He lifted his head and he was like, I don't have to react. And went back to bed, and he fell asleep for the rest of the night. So it was a beautiful thing to do. Uh, yeah, but even that barking, that's a form of anxiety. So you really want to start controlling that. The leash should be your best friend. Hello, Joan. Tracy, welcome. Tracy, how do you help a reactive dog when out on a walk? Mine is rehome dog with severe hip dysplasia that has never been walked. He isn't food driven. We were getting better, but seem to have regressed. Okay, and it's very normal, especially for a rescue dog or a dog that has not had much social interaction. The hip dysplasia is definitely an issue, so you got to be careful on the walks, not to do too strenuous, of course. But again, it all starts before you even go on the walk. If he if he's excited before you walk, don't do your walk. Don't go out that door if he's excited. Remember, we're going after the state of mind here. You have to, guys, start the walk off in a calm state. And that's from the moment you take the leash out. If they're excited to see the leash, don't put the leash on. If they're excited because you just grabbed your shoes, and I've worked with dogs that knew the routine. Oh, they're grabbing those shoes. We're going out. Hey, let's go. You can't reward that excitement, because if your walk starts off excitement, anything outside is going to be more. They're going to be more sensitive to the stimulus outside, being another dog, a leaf, a person, or whatever. Leash reactivity is usually because they get excited to see this other dog, and we force them back with tension, and then they don't know what to do with it. So my suggestion would be is one, Tracy, if you haven't, or anybody is watching, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Back to Basics Dog Training, um, look for the logo on YouTube. I have a playlist, How to Leash Train Your Dogs. It's really 5 steps to mastering the walk. Follow those steps. Step 1, go to step 2. Step 2, go to step 3. It starts at episode 1 and 2. Those are the 2 most primary parts of the walk, the most important part of the walk. Episode 2 is actually a little bit more important than episode 1. It's about threshold management. Tracy, what I'm going to suggest for you is really focus on that episode 2, threshold management, um, and really, really focus on learning how to invite your dog out to the outside world in a 100% calm manner. Because if you can control that threshold, your walk is that much easier. The other thing I'm going to tell people, and I do see this, and I just worked with this last week's topic was I was working with a reactive dog last week. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it on videotape because I was by myself. Dog was very reactive. Again, same situation. It was as close to feral dog as possible. And what I observed from the owners is they would see the dogs first. And when I heard the conversation, there's a dog coming, 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 oh, there's a dog coming. The owners got tense because they saw the dog. The dog hadn't seen it yet. They started tightening up on the leash and getting ready for the war. The war didn't happen yet. The battle didn't happen yet. And what they did is they actually projected such a bad energy, the dog went into guarding mode. And also, I didn't see this. I saw the eyes, and all of a sudden, the dog's gone. Dog, and the hair, the ears would change. The hair on the back would go up, tail would come up, and I'm like, he's using his eyesight because he's not sure what's going on because you're tensing up. So I took the leash, and when I saw the slightest change, once he recognized that the dog was there, I made a correction with my leash. Nope, sit. And after a few seconds, he got it. And the beauty of it was one point he really was bad. Mom was handling the leash. She wasn't making good corrections. She's still learning, so that's okay. I took the leash. I made a correction because I had to make it a little higher than I would like to, but he was already in a state of mind that was so high. I needed something a little bit more forceful to unlock his brain. And he threw his little bit of a temper tantrum, gave me that look, because he was mad at me because I'm the one who stopped him. And he sat. The next 3, 4, 5 dogs that passed us, he started to react. He said, "Nope, I'm not supposed to," and sat down and looked at me for guidance. But I stopped the explosion. Most people, when they're dealing with um, leash reactivity, Tracy, what they do is they wait to the explosion to start correcting. We wait for the dog to explode, and then we're saying, no. What I do is I look for the smallest sign that the dog is going to start reacting. And usually you can tell if you look at the ears. The ears are a telltale sign. I can't tell you if they're up, down, back because I don't know the dog. When my Zoe gets alert, her ears go, she has floppy ears, so the ears go up. I don't even know how to make myself do it, but it's like that. And then I can say, no. And she's not reactive, but she is kind of a bully sometimes when she's on her leash. When I work with Milo the Husky, his ears are like this. His ears go forward when he becomes alert. And what I noticed over the years of doing this is when they start doing that, if you look at their nose, you don't see that. You see this. And I know I got big eyes, guys, so this is probably pretty creepy. But they do this, and they're using all their eyesight, and that's not how they're ever going to communicate. They communicate by the sense of smell. That's where they gather everything. When they use their eyesight, they tend to react more. So what I tell people to do when you see a dog and you're walking and there's no dog and your dog is a happy dog, and all of a sudden you see the dog, okay, great, this is a good opportunity. Take it as an opportunity. You keep walking, start watching your dog. If you see any change to that happy-go-lucky prance, bam, no, sit. And stay there. Let the other dog pass. Keep an eye on your dog. Check your dog. Any change in calm, you're going to correct it to get them back to calm. And they observe the other dog walking past, and that's great. But if they're focused on that dog walking past them, you correct it because the dog's passing. Why are you looking that way? They don't need to check their rearview mirror. I'm hoping when one of the tenants that live in the apartment complex I'm in gets back from vacation, him and I are going to work with his dog because his dog is leash reactive. We're going to work in a park that has a lot of dogs, and I'm going to ask one of my family members to come and videotape because I want you people to see how this can work. I think it's going to do a lot of good because it can happen. I've worked with leash reactive dogs for the better part of 40 years. I'm telling you now, they don't need to be that way. We can fix it if we go, again, not physically trying to control them. mentally. I did get to that level of calm, but I think I missed the early cues. Yeah, you definitely missed the early cues. And the other thing is is when they do good, because eventually you'll see it. Also, you'll just pass it on and there won't be any reaction. Really happy praise. The follow through for the state of mind, guys. When I talk about behavior modification or dog training, and I'm coaching you guys and trying to inspire you guys, is the follow through is so crucial to get always back to zero calm. Always go for that, no matter what you're doing. If you're teaching your dog to sit, stay, things end at calm. If you're playing with your dog, because we love playing with our dogs, when you decide play is over, you always follow through and get back to the state of calm. When you're working with a leash reactive dog, it's the same thing. You always follow through to get the state of calm before we move forward. It is so important. And the more you stay consistent, the more you do your follow through, the more you do all this stuff, you will see changes in your dog. And the best part is you'll see changes in yourself. Because remember the three C's of training: calm, confidence equals control. And that's where it comes from, guys. Neapolitan is the only dog that goes bananas on other dogs and even people. I will definitely try this today. I guess walking four at a time. Yeah, walking when you have guys. I'm all for pack walks, taking all 20 dogs, take them all for walks. But if they're not, if one of them is not calm, that can create a disaster. So if you have one dog, like in this point, I'm going to say this wrong. Napoleon. Wow, I need more coffee. Napoleon reacts more. Work with Napoleon before you bring him back into the pack walks. Get him to understand what calm means, no matter what. A person, a dog, a leaf, a butterfly, anything. Work with him. And then when he's calm, then we go for the pack walk together. Because then the energy is different. That one excitable energy can change the other ones. That's how that excitable energy really can cause a major problem, especially when you're dealing with a pack of dogs. Uh, Kimberly, welcome. Our 8-year-old Shih Tzu Penny is afraid of everything. She is extremely anxious when she is outside of the house. She is get she is she is great in the car and absolutely loves car rides. Great. We have a daily dog walker who about a year and a half ago stopped coming out of the grate every day. Any advice? We tried medication though. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of doggy downers, guys. But if you have a dog that's afraid of everything, the sound of the wind, you need to desensitize them. Does not mean you're going to go for a 5 mile walk. Oh, stop coming out of the crate every day for her. Okay. Um, you need to desensitize her. This poor girl sounds like she's afraid of everything. And that's sad. But what you want to do is one, even if she is food motivated, I don't remember if you said she is or isn't. Food motivation is a great thing, and I say don't use regular training treats. Use high value food. Boil up some chicken, something that really is worth their time. So I've worked with dogs that have been afraid to come out of the crate, and what I do is I use their sense of smell. Their sense of smell is the most important thing. Okay, you will see that most dogs that are unsure of things are using their eyesight, not their nose. So when she shuts down, it's this. You see that the bug-eyed me staring. You don't see the nose being used. So what you can do is pick up, even if you have to take a banana, put lavender on something with a good smell. Lavender is calming to begin with, and you can use those to help guide her to a different direction. So what I would do when I deal with an insecure dog, and one thing, guys, when you deal with insecurity, take your time. Take your time. I can't stress enough. There is absolutely no rushing in insecurity. And I would pick one thing that's the most important to you, Kimberly. So if it's this crate issue, I'm just using this as an example, then I would really focus on coming out of that crate as the best thing in the world when you ask her to. And how can we do that? A lot of sense of smell. even if she's not food motivated, because if they get into such a state, like food's not going to make a difference, and I understand that, but they know this should be working. The last really insecure dog when I worked with, I actually had a bandana. I put it around my hand, put some lavender on it, and with the leash pressure and that my hand, I kind of guided a little bit. Um, there was nothing wrong with using a leash. Put her in the crate, and I'm using the crate as the example. And she doesn't want to come out. Don't drag her out. Help her unlock her brain. For whatever reason, that barrier is creating a lock in her brain, and it happens, guys. You apply a little bit of leash pressure. So if she's applying a foot-pound pressure backwards, you're going to hold a foot and a half-pound pressure the other way. And as soon as you get any movement, I don't care if it's backwards, forward, even a leap in the air, good girl, let's go. And you try to go with that momentum of motion. Same thing I do with dogs that are on walks that are terrified. There are dogs that are absolutely terrified for whatever reason of walks. I don't know why. I don't ask why. I don't care why. I just need them to move forward. Um, She uses a breeding dog for the first 5.5 years. That makes a lot of sense. And we rescued her. She is so afraid and it's so sad. She is such a love and she is so scared. She has no problem coming out of her crate for my husband and I, but won't come up to the dog walker anymore. So, Kimberly, this is going to be the part that's probably going to be the hardest for you and your husband because thank you for what you did. You rescued this poor dog who, for 5.5 years, lived a really crappy life and had no social clues. Because breeding dogs, guys, let's face reality, that's one of the worst forms of abuse you can do to a dog. They live in crates. They don't have any socialization. Their puppies are taken away from them. The only interaction with humans is usually not the best. So, but as humans, we feel bad for them. We look at those 5.5 years and we're playing every time we see her. Every time, oh my God, you poor baby. And this is the hard part. You need to stop because look what you're giving her today. And be proud of those 5.5 years because she survived them. Change the narrative. Change it, guys. I can't stress it enough. 5.5 years, you poor baby. Look what you went through. Man, I'm so proud of you. 5.5 years, you beat that. You knocked the heck out of that 5.5 years, and you survived it because you're tough. Be proud of it. Change your narrative. Change your head. We'll change the energy because every time she reacts, we go back to those 5.5 years, and it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, guys. Believe me, when I work with dogs like that, it breaks my heart when I'm in my car, not when I'm working with them. Because I know if I stay in their past and I think about those 5.5 years, I can't move them forward because I'm not moving forward. And again, I use the story of Zoe with Parvo. When Zoe had Parvo, and I finally brought her home from the hospital after 13 days. My wife and my kids were like, "Oh my God, my poor baby almost died," and they were hugging and kissing her. I'm like, "All right, enough of this. How about today? Today we feel bad that she almost died, but tomorrow we celebrate she lived because almost died but lived are the same thing, but one has a much better energy." And that's what she's looking for you for, Kimberly. That's what she wants you to do is help her move forward. We have to move forward. So don't look at those 5.5 years as a sad thing. Look at them as a triumph. It's the same thing. I'm not knocking the emotions because I feel it. When I was reading that, I felt it in my chest. But I know that's not going to help her move forward if I stay there. I need to move past that to help her move past it. And that's the three C's that calm confidence gives me control. When I'm with them, I'm calm. I'm there. I want them to have the confidence that I'm going to never put them in that situation ever again. How do we do that? We need to move past it. But you do it in baby steps. So if she comes out of the crate for you, great. First thing I would do is take her out front and maybe not even get out of my driveway. Just have her chill out front with us and just sit there and let her observe the world with a new, calmer pack leader. And don't worry about her reactions. Make sure she stays safe. Make sure whatever tool you're going to use to keep her tethered to you can't slip off like a collar slip off her neck or a harness that can slip out. Make sure she's safe and just put a lawn chair in your driveway or on your front lawn and just hang out with her. Knowing in your head that this is the best thing for her. And that reaction, that fight and flight reaction, because right now I think she's in a flight mode and she's just shutting down because it's overwhelming, and I understand that. But you just stay there and let her go through the emotions, because what she's going to learn, nothing bad happened. And mom's energy didn't change to that soft energy, because Packard was never soft. They're always calm and confident. So, Kimberly, I know it's going to be hard. I know it, but it works. And I've done this. I've done this. The dog I was talking about that I worked with last weekend or the weekend before was a feral dog. 2.5 years it lived on the street, knew nothing, was terrified of everything. It was terrified in a house with four walls. It was terrified in its crate. It was terrified to go out on a walk. It was terrified to go to the bathroom out on the walk. It was terrified to go near its food bowl because of where it was located. It was terrified. And what we had to do was just slowly break away those fears. And we did that with the three C's: calm, confidence, to get the control. And when you hear the dog's backstory, of course, we're going to feel bad for him. Our job is to move them forward. And in order to move them forward, guys, we need to move forward, and we need to stop living in their past. And then, because every little milestone that she accomplishes now, you'll be so much happier. Your energy will change. I'm telling you, that's why I put this blurb here. Energy is the most important form of communication. When I work with these dogs that are like this, and I've worked with these breeder dogs that have been in cages for 5, 6, 7 years, what the littlest thing that they do that takes them out of that shutdown mode, my energy is so happy. You can actually see it in their face, like, oh wow, that's all you wanted me to do? Cool. And they move forward. Kimberly, I hope this makes sense, but it's so worth it. And I know how hard what I'm asking, people to do. I know how hard it is. But please understand, for her well-being. Finish today with the emotions. Tomorrow, let's move forward. It's such a better way to go, guys. I know how hard it is. And it's taken me a lot of years to do that, to master that. Thank you. How do I get information on contacting you directly regarding one? You can always reach out to me. I don't know. Um, wow, Tracy from Australia. It's two in the morning and you're watching me? Well, thank you. Go to bed. Sweet dreams. Um, you can always reach out to me. I'll put my contact information up here. Where is it? Hold on, because I never know where I put anything, guys. So I apologize. Oh, there I am. Um, this is the best way to get me. My phone number is 631-514-9128. Texting is always the best thing. Or you can email me at info@backtobasicsdogtraining.com. I'd be happy to have a one-on-one private session with you. Guys, I do private sessions one-on-one in the comfort of your homes. If we can't arrange that, because I talk so much about Zoom energy, I do offer Zoom sessions. They're definitely an economical way to get 2 hours of my time. Um, in that 2 hours, you'll learn more about specific issues for your dog, of course, because that's what we're going to focus on, not me bouncing all over the place. Um, but we will definitely, the Zoom sessions have helped hundreds of thousands of people since the pandemic around the country and around the world. So even our friend over in Australia, you can always arrange doing a Zoom training across the world. That's the beauty of Zoom. Um, and again, anybody who's on the Remember Me Rescue Facebook pages, please go to Back to Basics Dog Training SC, South Carolina, on Facebook. Like my page, follow me, whatever it's called. I do see the comments and the questions a lot quicker on on my personal Facebook page, the Back to Basics one, um, instead of Memory Rescues. I do try to keep an eye on them, but they get so many messages. It's so hard to decipher sometimes because they do such a wonderful job rescuing dogs. So again, please go to my Facebook page, Back to Basics Dog Training SC. Like my page. This way, if you have any comments or you want to private message me, by all means, feel free. I will answer any and all questions. So, guys, we're at the magic 40-minute mark. I missed a few minutes while you were discussing grabbing the leash. All my dogs start barking. What do I do in that circumstance? Okay, so what I do when dogs get excited because they just see these ropes, I sit down. I sit down and I make them come to me and say, "Why aren't you putting the leash on me?" Now I have their attention a little bit more. Okay, sit. And if they're calm, I will put the leash on them. If they're not calm, you got to put the leash on. They start moving, I stop, and I just go through the steps, and I make them kind of figure it out on their own. So I take the leashes out. Well, don't like that state of mind. Hey, Michelle, Rob, Athena, and Bergen. Um, I don't like that state of mind. I sit down. I make them come over to me. Eventually, they come over and say, "Well, what are you doing?" Um, so just take the time, make them make better decisions. Um, that's the best thing I say. And again, guys who have not subscribed, please go to my YouTube channel, Back to Basics Dog Training. Subscribe to it. Uh, there is a playlist, How to Leash Train Your Dog in 5 Easy Steps, which is really mastering the walk. Watch each episode, master each episode. You'll get it. Donna, thank you for your question. I adopted Mia from a friend who worked 10 hours a day, so the dog was locked in a room for 10 hours. That is why I adopted her. My question is, how do I get her to run around and enjoy my house when I'm not home? She seems to go in my bedroom and stay there until I come home. I've been, you know what? If the bedroom door is open and that's where she chooses to hang out, don't. I personally wouldn't make a big deal out of it. She has freedom. This is where she chooses. Remember, guys, I tell this to people all the time. Most of the time, if you ever really watch dogs, and I've set up cameras in my own house, when we're not home, dogs sleep. That's why they get the zoomies when we get home. They sleep most of the day. And keep in mind, they're den animals, so they may go to a comfortable part of the house wherever they feel more comfortable, more secure when we're not home. There's no stimulus. To be running around and doing things when nobody's home isn't really the proper manners anyway. When we're not home, they should be resting. So when we get home, we can enjoy them a little bit more. So if your bedroom door is open and that's where she chooses to go, I personally wouldn't have a problem. If you don't want to go in there, the best thing I can say is suggest that you just shut the bedroom door or shut all the doors so she just stays in the living room, family room, kitchen, dining room, whatever area. That's your decision. If you don't have a problem with her being in the bedroom, I've had dogs in my life that the moment I leave, they go right back into their crate. That's where they felt more comfortable. I didn't have a problem with it. Uh, Running around inside the house when nobody's home is very. It shouldn't. I don't want to say shouldn't happen, but very rarely happens. When we're not home, they're resting. When I'm not home, it's always either in my bedroom or on my chair. Um, no dog is kept out. No, the door is kept open all the time. I wish you would come out and enjoy and not feel like she's locked in that room, even though the door's open. Yeah, and it's not. She's not feeling. I don't think she's feeling locked there. I think she's just comfortable there. When you're home, does she come out and hang out with you, or does she just stay in that room? Because I'd rather, when you're home, she should be with you because you're part of a pack and packs stay together that way. Um, and when you're not at home, like I said, if she's comfortable in there, I personally wouldn't have a problem. It's when you're home, where is she, would be my question. Yeah, she comes out. Yeah, Donna, I wouldn't make a big deal out of it. It's not like you're telling her to go in there. She's choosing to go in there. She's comfortable in there. That's okay. Like I said, they sleep most of the time when we're not home anyway. If I put a nanny cam in my house here and let it go to the world, my wife would probably kill me. You would see when I'm not home, Zoe's probably on my chair because that's where she gravitates toward. I could be gone for 10 hours. That's where she's going to be. Unless somebody knocks on the door, she's not going to probably move from there. She may get up to go drink some water and then go right back there. But the other thing is, I would say don't keep any food or the water source in there because if she needs it, it'll be a way to get her to understand she can come out. So if you put her water outside the room, that will encourage her to go out. Um, yeah, and like I said, just don't, if she's comfortable there, let her be comfortable. I have no problem with that. So, guys, we're at 45, almost 46 minutes here. This was great. I love this type of interaction. I love the fact that we had somebody from Australia on. Um, if anybody needs me, please, here's my contact information. My phone number is 631-514-9128. Texting is always the best method. Or you can email me at info@backtobasicsdogtraining.com. I'll be happy to answer any and all your questions. We can always set up private one-on-one training sessions as well as Zoom training or FaceTime or Google Meet or whatever is easier for you guys. Remember, virtual is so much more economically efficient. So for people around the country and around the world, I can definitely still help. So with that being said, guys, thank you as always for inviting me into your home each and every Saturday morning. I do appreciate it more than you know. Um, as always, stay healthy, stay safe, God bless, and remember, together we can help one dog and one family at a time. Enjoy your rest of your weekend, guys, and we'll see you next Saturday morning.